the question of why am I an MLM?
Lo primero con lo que quiero comenzar es con la pregunta de por qué estoy en el MLM.
One of those reasons is because I make dietary supplements and not drugs.
Una de esas razones es porque hago suplementos alimenticios y no medicamentos.
And dietary supplements work best if they're taken before you have a problem.
Los suplementos lo mejor es tomarlos antes de tener un problema o para prevenirlos.
But in order for that to work, it takes education, excellent information from a trusted source.
Para que eso funcione hace falta educación y información confiable de una buena fuente.
So part of that is dependent on me and whether or not I can gather the information, process it, synthesize it, and create a good product.
Esa parte, en parte depende de mí, de que pueda darles la información de este buen producto.
Okay. But the other part is you, because you are, for the consumer, the primary trusted source.
Pero la otra parte corresponde a ustedes, ya que ustedes son la fuente primaria, la principal fuente de confianza de cualquier producto.
And that's partly why I spend so much time educating and helping you to understand so that you can be more knowledgeable and therefore be more trusted.
Por eso yo me esfuerzo tanto por darles la información y que puedan conocer el producto y tenerle confianza.
Now, I realize that not all of us have a strong science background.
Reconozco que no todos tenemos una formación científica.
Okay. And so when you get into a situation where someone asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, don't answer it.
De modo que si alguien les pregunta algo cuya respuesta no saben, no le respondan.
But validate them and say, that's a great question, let me check.
Más vale dar validez a esa pregunta y decir, esa es una gran pregunta, déjenme checar.
Yeah. Your honesty will increase their trust, not decrease it.
Su honestidad aumentará y no hará disminuir su confianza.
Okay. Now, the second reason that I'm in MLM is for me personal.
La segunda razón por la que formo parte del MLM es personal.
You see, I invented one of the strongest and most researched immune supplements, but I really don't know who that's helping because I have no contact with them.
Yo inventé uno de los suplementos más importantes y potentes, pero no conozco personalmente a quienes he ayudado con ello.
Knowing you and knowing how the products have helped you is extremely motivating to me.
Para mí es extremadamente motivador el poder conocer y saber de la gente a la que he ayudado.
Okay. For me, it's like as if every test tube has a face of someone I know and care about.
Es como si en cada tubo de experimento estuviera la cara de alguna de estas personas.
Okay, Alex, let's go to the next slide.
Jaime, siguiente slide, por favor.
Jaime is the one who's going to be sliding.
There we go. Good, good, good. Okay. The next question then would be, why Bepic?
La otra pregunta sería, ¿por qué Bepic?
Well, one of the reasons for that is because network marketing in its purity is in fact a self-improvement program for you, for me, and for the consumers.
Esto se debe a que el network marketing o el mercadeo en red es en su pureza un programa de superación personal para ti, para mí, para los consumidores.
And for me, knowing that you who are helping me spread the word are getting paid rather than some slick Hollywood advertising company is very important.
Para mí es importante saber que a ustedes,
No voy a poder
que a ustedes es a quienes se les está pagando y no a una marca de marketing eh, prestigiosa.
Yeah. And the next aspect is, as I look for a company to work with, I need to know that they care about their people.
Es importante para mí saber que les importa a las personas con quienes están trabajando a la hora de utilizar el marketing, las empresas de marketing.
And I wanted to make sure that I had a company who the strength of their compensation plan would match the strength of the products that I create.
Quería asegurarme de estar trabajando con una compañía cuya fortaleza de su plan de compensación fuera tan fuerte como los productos que desarrollo.
And again, the people who are at Bepic, both on the corporate side, like Jesus and Alejandro and so forth, are people I trust. And you are people I trust. I've worked with you for decades.
A las personas con las que trabajo en el lado corporativo, como Jesús Álvarez, Alejandro Gómez, son personas de mi confianza con las que he trabajado por décadas.
And so again, because it involves trust, I need to be able to trust the people I'm working with. And that is one of the main reasons I am with Bepic.
La confianza es muy importante para este negocio y ya que tengo mucha confianza en estas personas, esto es una de las razones por las que he escogido Bepic.
It is also true that Bepic is one of the very few companies who is willing to spend the necessary money to create a product of this quality.
También es cierto que Bepic es una de las pocas compañías que da lo necesario para poder desarrollar un producto de esta calidad.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Siguiente slide, Jaime, por favor.
There we go. Okay. The next question then was, why do we need a new immune supplement?
La siguiente pregunta es, ¿para qué necesitamos un nuevo suplemento inmunitario?
The answer to that is fairly simple.
La respuesta de ello es bastante simple.
Science does not stand still. In fact, it doubles about every 15 years.
La ciencia no se detiene. De hecho, sus descubrimientos se doblan cada 15 años aproximadamente.
Okay, so let's take a look. When I first designed my first transfer factor product back in 1997, 1999, it would be as if you had the cell phone that was on the left here. Now, it worked, it did its job, but how many of us would want to stay with the technology of 25 years ago as opposed to the technology of today?
Cuando inicié en los 90 con el primer transfer factor, era comparable al teléfono celular de la izquierda. Funciona bien y da un buen servicio, pero a quien no le gustaría en su lugar optar por las nuevas tecnologías del hoy.
Okay, and again, as greater knowledge accumulates, it leads to a greater understanding.
Al acumular mayores conocimientos, ello nos conduce a una mejor comprensión.
It also, in doing so, gives us a broader perspective and a new view of how to help the body be all that it can be.
Así desarrollamos una nueva perspectiva y una nueva visión de lo que nuestro cuerpo puede llegar a ser.
Now, one thing that I want you to recognize is that of all the systems in the body, the immune system is essentially the primary system and is the one that keeps us alive.
De todos los sistemas del cuerpo humano, el sistema inmune es el más importante, es el que realmente nos mantiene vivos.
Okay. If you look at any hierarchy of value, the survival is always the most important thing. It's always at the base of the pyramid.
En todas las jerarquías de valores, la supervivencia siempre está en la base de la pirámide. Es lo más importante.
Now, the immune system is our key to survival.
El sistema inmune es la llave a la supervivencia.
And I think the last 3 years has certainly helped convince us of that.
Los últimos 3 años nos han ayudado a convencernos de este hecho.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
There is a lot to talk about.
Hay mucho de lo que hablar aquí,
But it's too much to all take in at one time.
es demasiado para tomar de una sola vez.
So what I've planned out is for the next 14 weeks to be able to each Wednesday night get together and talk about one aspect of health first and set up the context, the background.
De modo que la idea es poder explicar cada uno de estos factores, cada uno de estos elementos a lo largo de las siguientes 14 semanas.
Okay, and then after that, to look at ImmunoCode and understand it in the context of everything that we're doing.
Y con esa información poder analizar y comprender a ImmunoCode en el contexto de todo lo que hace, de todas sus funciones.
Now, I've already given a Spanish presentation on ImmunoCode, and that's been recorded.
Ya he dado una presentación que ha sido grabada de ImmunoCode en español.
Obviously, I want you to be able to talk about the product before 8 weeks from now.
De modo que en las próximas 8 semanas quisiera que ya puedan poder hablar del producto.
But the reason I've set this up this way is so that we can understand the why we need ImmunoCode and then the how ImmunoCode helps us.
La razón por la que decidí organizarlo de esta forma es para que podamos entender por qué necesitamos a ImmunoCode y después en qué formas nos va a ayudar ImmunoCode.
Okay. And so, Alex, do you want to just read off the titles just so people can, I mean, they're
Yes.
there, but maybe you just read them off.
¿Ok? En contexto, tenemos
Yes.
introducción y reunión. 2. El círculo vicioso del deterioro de la salud en el mundo. 3. Cuidado de enfermos versus medicamentos para el cuidado de la salud y suplementos alimenticios. 4. La energía y la jerarquía de las funciones vitales. 5. Bienestar reactivo versus bienestar proactivo. 6. Tu sistema inmunológico, la base de la salud. 7. Inteligencia celular. En la segunda parte, ImmunoCode. Primero, Bepic ImmunoCode. 2. El impresionante poder del factor de transferencia. 3. Oligosacáridos de la leche humana. 4. Mezcla inmune innata de ImmunoCode. 5. Mezcla antioxidante y metabólica de ImmunoCode. 6. Acerca del perfil de vitaminas y minerales de ImmunoCode. Y 7. Sistema de ventajas Bepic.
You see, the importance of all of these to your business, I think, is very great.
Creo que estas son muchas grandes ventajas para su negocio.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Sigamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Restoration biology is a concept that I developed about 10 years ago.
La biología de la restauración es un concepto que desarrollé hace unos 10 años.
Okay, and I have a number of these books available, and I will make those available to different groups so that you will have some for them to use and to understand.
Tengo varios libros disponibles de este tema. Los voy a poner a la disposición de diferentes grupos para que les puedan servir.
Okay, so let's look at the underlying principles of restoration biology.
Vemos lo que son los principales principios de la biología de la restauración.
The first is a reverence for nature and a dedication to science.
El primero es la reverencia por la naturaleza y la dedicación a la ciencia.
What do I mean by that?
¿Qué quiero decir con eso?
We have a reverence for nature because as a scientist, the only way that I can control nature is by obeying her.
Tengo una reverencia por la naturaleza porque en tanto que científico solamente puedo, me dedico a obedecer a la naturaleza.
Okay. And so when I design a supplement, I'm designing not to take over the body, but to enable the body.
Cuando desarrollo un suplemento, lo que estoy intentando no es forzar al cuerpo, sino permitirle al cuerpo que funcione.
Okay. The second principle is that the belief that the body was designed to be healthy.
El segundo principio es la idea de que el cuerpo fue diseñado para estar sano.
So we don't have to fight the body. We need only to help it.
No necesitamos pelear contra el cuerpo, sino más bien ayudarlo.
See, that's one of the major differences between a dietary supplement and a drug. A drug takes over. A dietary supplement strengthens.
Esa es la diferencia entre un medicamento, cuya función es intervenir e imponer, y un suplemento que lo que ayuda es a que
Okay.
el cuerpo funcione.
Okay. The third is the idea that the cells have their own control mechanisms or intelligence.
La tercera es la idea de que las células contienen sus propios mecanismos de control o su propia inteligencia.
This is critical
Esto es de importancia crítica,
because if the cells have intelligence, then my role is only to support them, not to control them.
porque si las células tienen inteligencia, lo que debemos de hacer es ayudarlas, no controlarlas.
And if you remember back from that series, number 7 in the background speaks specifically to the idea of cells being intelligent.
Si ven en la diapositiva anterior, el número 7, se habla específicamente de la inteligencia de las células.
Okay, and then the fourth and final one is given the right nutrition, the cells can defend and maintain themselves.
Por último, la idea de que con la nutrición adecuada, las células pueden defenderse a sí mismas y mantenerse.
You see, cells are intelligent, but we limit their choices by what we give them to work with.
Las células son inteligentes, pero nosotros limitamos su capacidad de acción.
Okay. For example, let's use the metaphor of a carpenter.
Podríamos poner como ejemplo la metáfora de un carpintero.
If the carpenter has bent boards and crooked nails and dull saws, he may do the best job he can, but it won't be very good.
Si un carpintero tiene tablas defectuosas, herramientas y clavos defectuosos, puede hacer un buen trabajo, pero el trabajo final no va a ser muy bueno.
But with good wood, sharp tools, the carpenter can do a masterful job.
Pero con buena madera y las mejores herramientas, el carpintero puede hacer un trabajo excelente.
In like manner, cells given the right materials to work with under the right conditions can do a beautiful, amazing job of maintaining our health.
Así, de esta misma forma, las células, si se les dan los recursos necesarios y las herramientas, nos pueden servir a mantener bien nuestra salud.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Pasemos a la siguiente.
Okay. Many of you who have been with me in the past know that transfer factor is a very new, very different kind of a supplement.
Quienes ya me conocen sabrán que el factor de transferencia es un suplemento de nuevo tipo, muy innovador.
And in order to help people to understand what transfer factor is, I wrote a book that is illustrated.
Para explicar su funcionamiento, escribí un libro que ha sido ilustrado.
In today's jargon, is called a graphic novel.
En el lenguaje contemporáneo diríamos que es una novela gráfica.
And what this does is it takes a person through an experience with transfer factor between individuals.
Lo que hace es explorar el efecto del factor de transferencia entre individuos.
Now, in order to make that available to everyone, what I've done is write it in English and translate it into Spanish.
Para hacerlo disponible a todo el mundo, lo escribí en inglés y luego lo traduje al español.
Okay. And I've made it available on Amazon in a Kindle edition.
Está disponible en edición Kindle en Amazon.
And whether we print this or not, that'll be something that we'll talk about at a later date. But for right now, you can find this on Amazon, look it up by its full name. The name you have to use is the English name. So transfer factors, a gift of mothers to their children.
De momento no hay versión impresa, pero se puede buscar en Amazon por su nombre en inglés. Transfer Factors, a mother's gift to her
Of
children.
immunity to her children.
A mother's gift of immunity to her children.
Right. And you should be able to see it in both English and Spanish versions.
Deberían de poder encontrarlo en las versiones inglés y español.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide.
Pasemos a la siguiente.
I know that many of you have a very high respect for me.
Sé que muchos de ustedes tienen un alto nivel de respeto por mí,
But I want you to also know how high a respect I have for you.
pero también quiero que sepan que yo tengo un gran respeto por ustedes.
Okay. And so because of that, I would like to invite you to join me in an R&D effort.
Por ello, los invito a una actividad de R&D.
Let me give you a context.
Déjenme darles el contexto.
Okay. How is research done? Well, in fact, how it's done is by excluding individual differences.
¿Cómo se realiza la investigación? Se realiza excluyendo las diferencias individuales.
For example, a study is done and the report is this: 76% of 24-year-old males with a BMI of less than 21.9 were benefited.
Por ejemplo, un estudio puede arrojar el dato de que el 76% de los varones de 24 años con un índice de masa corporal menor a 21.9 se beneficiaron.
What does that mean?
¿Qué quiere decir esto?
That group of people only represents 7 out of 10,000 people in the world.
Eso quiere decir que esas personas únicamente representan a 7 de cada 10,000 personas en el mundo.
Yeah, it's like less than 0.1%. It's just very few people.
Menos de una décima parte de 1%. Es muy poca gente.
So what if you're not 24, not male, have a BMI greater than 21.9? Does it even apply to you?
Entonces, podría aplicar si no tienes 24 años, si no eres hombre o si tienes un índice de masa corporal mayor a 21.9.
And even if you have all those qualifications, what if you're one of the 24% that it didn't help?
Incluso teniendo todas esas características, ¿qué pasa si eres uno del 24% a quienes no les ayudó?
So can you see the problem?
¿Pueden ver el problema de esto?
This is one of the challenges that I face constantly, is I have to go through thousands of research papers to be able to put together the puzzle of whether a product will work for people, for many people, not just a few people.
Esto es uno de los desafíos a los que yo me enfrento al investigar y al buscar la forma de ayudar a la mayor cantidad de personas posible,
So where do
y
you
no solo a
come in?
unos pocos. What?
So where do you come in?
Entonces, ¿en qué parte entran ustedes?
Let's go to the next slide.
Pasemos a la siguiente.
for decades, we have shared testimonials and stories with each other and so forth. And what science now understands is that an N of 1, not 10,000 people in a study, but individuals, provide better evidence when you're looking at the efficacy of a nutritional.
Con los testimonios que hemos compartido durante décadas, hemos descubierto que la prueba de eficacia más adecuada es la de N de 1, de persona a persona.
In fact, I've given you the reference there from September of last year. In the Frontiers of Nutrition, they said, we have to reevaluate the way that we're testing nutraceuticals.
En la fuente que cité aquí, se dice que lo que debemos de hacer es reevaluar la forma con la que probamos y diseñamos los nutracéuticos.
Okay, so I want you to put yourself in the position of the girl on the right.
Pónganse en la posición de la chica que está a la derecha.
She has to make a decision.
Ella tiene que decidir.
I have 5 people who have reported their benefits from ImmunoCode, let's say.
Por ejemplo, aquí podrían ser 5 personas que han dicho que les ha servido mucho ImmunoCode.
Which of those people do you think would best fit her?
¿Cuál de esas personas creen ustedes que les sería más afín?
I have 5 different protocols, 5 different ways that I used it, 5 different conditions. If I can look at that and say, okay, my condition resembles the girl in red, okay, then I will follow her protocol. Maybe I more match the girl in blue on the far right, age-wise and otherwise, and so maybe I'll follow hers. But do you see what I'm saying? Your experiences recorded for the benefit of others, and especially when you share those with me so that I can put them together and evaluate them, gives each of you more understanding than if I were to just throw out one paper at you that, as I said, indicates less than 0.1% of people that are helped.
Um,
Do you want me to start
aunque
over?
sean... No, está bien.
Okay, go ahead.
It's all right. Aunque se trata de 5 casos diferentes, la chica puede ver a cada uno de ellos y determinar con base en las características que tengan en común con alguna de ellas, cuál va a ser el beneficio que ella va a tener. De persona a persona, como en este ejemplo, es de una forma mucho más efectiva que a partir de una muestra de un estudio.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide.
Pasemos a la siguiente diapositiva.
In fact, we actually did that. An individual took all of the reports that I was given and compiled them some years ago in booklets that you see here.
De hecho, esto ya lo hicimos. Una persona hizo una compilación de esos testimonios y a partir de ellos creamos este libro.
Okay, now the importance of this was immeasurable.
Esto tuvo una importancia enorme.
When you introduce a new product to someone and they can see someone else who's had a similar condition having been helped, they can gain confidence and commitment to move forward.
Cuando ves a una persona que tiene una condición de salud parecida a la tuya, a la que le ayudó este producto, vas a tenerle más confianza al producto.
So you see, your role in the R&D effort is extremely important.
Por ello es que el rol que ustedes van a jugar va a ser muy importante.
And so again, I invite you to share your experiences with me, share the experiences of others that can relate their, where they were, how they got there, and then what they did and the benefit they received creates a situation for all of us to learn and to be better able to help each other.
Al compartir las experiencias, las anécdotas y los testimonios de este producto entre nosotros, vamos a poder conocerlo mejor y tener una mayor confianza.
Okay. Now, we have been here about 45 minutes.
Llevamos ya 45 minutos aproximadamente.
And so this is all I want to present to you tonight, but I would like to open up and give you a chance to ask some questions.
Esa sería toda mi presentación para hoy, pero les doy la oportunidad de que hagan algunas preguntas.
And it may be best to put them in the chat. Not, as you well know, there are certain restrictions that we have. And so I may not be able to answer all of your questions.
Como sabrán, hay ciertas restricciones, pero por medio del chat pues será mejor que ahí sea donde expresen sus preguntas.
But please feel free to ask. I'd like our conversations to be two-way streets.
Por favor, no se limiten, no se pregunten lo que quieran. Quiero que nuestra conversación, nuestro diálogo pueda ser de dos partes. Bilateral.
I realize this is a bit new, but be aware that I do respect you that much, that I wish you to have a voice.
Sé que esto es algo nuevo, pero como lo respeto mucho, quiero que tengan esta voz. Janet is asking, can a mother who has just given birth take ImmunoCode?
I'm going to answer that in a way that that will only, I won't say yes and I won't say no. Okay, what I'll give you is my own experience. Since I've been working on this, my daughters have all taken immune products that I've made. Those that have had easier pregnancies and have been able to recover more quickly. The ability of their children to be healthy, their ability for them to maintain their health has been improved. Now, each of you have to make your own decision. I can only give you the experiences that I've had and that my own daughters have had.
Dice, no puedo dar una respuesta demasiado tajante de sí o no, pero en el caso de mis hijas que han tomado el ImmunoCode, les ha ayudado a tener una mejor recuperación. Eso.
Do you see the power of that testimonial?
¿Llevan el poder de los testimonios?
I didn't make the decision for you.
No tomo la decisión por ustedes.
That's still for you to do. What I've given you is I've shared an experience from which you can now have more understanding.
Lo único que hice fue darles un testimonio que les va a ayudar a tener una mejor comprensión.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Max asked, Dear Mr. Hennen, what is the difference between the transfer factors of hemoderivates versus the ones that you have developed?
I'm not sure what hemoderivates are. Is that a bloodborne? Is that what
Yes.
is that what that refers to? Okay.
It refers to blood.
Okay. Okay. Here's the difference. The transfer factor. Okay, this is going to get a little bit technical. Okay. transfer factors are a product of the immune cells.
Los factores de transferencia son producto de las células inmunológicas.
Okay. As we get later on, I'll explain that transfer factors are the same regardless of whether they come from a cow or a horse or a human or a dog.
Más adelante lo explicaré, pero son iguales sin importar de que vengan de una persona, de una vaca, de un perro.
Okay. We isolate the transfer factor from bovine colostrum.
Aislamos el factor de transferencia de calostro bovino.
But if you were to buy that transfer factor book, it'll explain this in there.
En el libro del factor de transferencia se explica esto.
It is the gift of a mother to her child.
Es el regalo que le da una madre a su hijo.
You see, during pregnancy, the mother is actually concentrating immune cells in her breast tissue.
Durante el embarazo, la mujer almacena estas células inmunes en sus pechos.
She then breaks those cells open to release the transfer factor so she can give it to her child in the first feedings.
Al amamantar lo que hace es romper estas células para poder darle el factor de transferencia a su hijo.
Okay. Now, milk is an accepted human dietary supplement.
La leche está considerada un suplemento alimenticio aceptado,
Blood is not.
pero la sangre no.
Okay. And so the ability now that we can essentially, we can't go back to our own mothers, but we can have a surrogate mother to give us transfer factors when we're older.
Así que si bien no podemos regresar con nuestra madre, podemos tener los beneficios del factor de transferencia al crecer, al envejecer.
Okay. And the wonderful thing about a cow is that a cow has no sense of hygiene.
Lo bueno de las vacas es que no tienen un sentido de la higiene.
So they live in a very dirty environment.
Viven en un ambiente muy sucio,
Very close to nature,
muy cercano a la naturaleza.
the very opposite of what we've done to ourselves. We've separated ourselves from nature so much that we end up with all kinds of allergies and so forth because we don't recognize nature anymore.
Esto es lo opuesto a los humanos, que nos hemos alejado mucho de la naturaleza y ello se ha traducido en que hemos desarrollado alergias y otro tipo de males.
And so we have some significant advantages taking transfer factors from animals that are closely connected to their environment.
Entonces nos beneficiamos de obtener los factores de transferencia de animales que están muy ligados a su medio ambiente.
And like I said, in that booklet, I've tried to explain that in pictures and diagrams and so forth. So you may want to get a better understanding, pick up that transfer factor booklet.
Esto está explicado de una forma con ilustraciones y con esquemas en el libro. Entonces es recomendable que lo puedan leer.
Let's go to the next one. The booklet is the transfer factors one. It's the one it's 3 slides before that. If you want to put up the slide.
Another question. How can ImmunoCode, Daniela Daza is asking, how can ImmunoCode benefit a person who is bipolar?
Let me let me speak to what that is. Obviously, there are issues that are creating a condition where the mind is no longer stable. It's flipping from one to the other. That's a very complex condition. But what I have noticed is that almost every condition has an immune component to it.
Existen factores que desestabilizan la mente, pero lo que yo he notado es que este tipo de enfermedades siempre tienen un componente relacionado con el sistema inmunológico.
Okay. That doesn't mean it's a complete answer.
No quiere decir que este producto sea una respuesta completa a ese problema,
But inflammation, which is an immune response, is often involved in disrupting communication within systems.
pero la inflamación, que es una reacción del sistema inmunológico, es una de las razones que irrumpe en la comunicación entre sistemas.
Right. And so if you were to name whatever condition you have and do a search of that condition and inflammation, you'll almost always find a connection.
Casi siempre hay una conexión entre la inflamación inmunológica y este tipo de condiciones.
And so again, it may not be sufficient, but it may be necessary to strengthen the immune system so that the immune system knows not only when to react, but when to relax.
Entonces, esto puede que no sea suficiente, pero puede ser necesario fortalecer el sistema inmunológico para que sepa reaccionar cuando tiene que actuar y cuando tiene que relajarse.
Okay. In fact, many of these questions are anticipating the very topics that we'll be covering over the next 3 months.
Muchas de estas preguntas se anticipan a los temas que vamos a estar tratando en los siguientes meses.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. Next question.
Siguiente pregunta. What are the benefits? Javier Espino is asking, what are the benefits of ImmunoCode in an autistic child?
There have been a number of things that have been looked at in trying to understand autism. And there is a clear but not fully understood connection between autism and the immune system again. That may involve, I'll go on too long and you won't be able to translate it all. Go ahead. There's a strong connection between autism and inflammation, autism and the immune system.
Existe una fuerte conexión entre el autismo y los problemas del sistema inmunológico.
Okay, and again, a contributing factor, but may not be but most likely is not the only factor.
Entonces, este probablemente será un factor, aunque probablemente no sea el más importante, el autismo.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Gerardo Vázquez is asking, what about an 11-year-old kid who has ADHD? Can he take it?
Okay, my 11-year-olds were about almost as big as I am. Let me just give you a standard to use for comparison. Do you want to say that much?
Can you repeat, please?
Okay. An 11-year-old can be probably 2/3 the size of an adult or more.
Un niño de 11 años puede que tenga, puede ser más o menos 2/3 de un adulto en tamaño.
Okay, so when I design a product like ImmunoCode, I design it for an average person about 70-75 kilos.
Cuando diseño un producto, lo diseño pensando en una persona promedio de alrededor de 77 kilos.
Okay, so 3 capsules for 70-75 kilos.
3 cápsulas para 75 a 77 kilos.
So basically it's 1 capsule per 22-25 kilos.
Sería aproximadamente una cápsula por cada 22 a 25 kilos.
So again, just ratio for body size.
Entonces hay que hacer la proporción al tamaño corporal.
Okay. Let's go to the next question.
Patty Abundis asks, can it be taken if the person, even if the person is taking rheumatoid arthritis drugs, medicines?
That's a good question. My experience has been that, and again, it depends on what drug you're taking. You know, so an individual who's in a situation like that may want to start low and go slow as they build up the dose and see what benefit it is for them.
En mi experiencia, lo mejor depende también del tipo de medicamento. Y lo mejor sería empezar de pequeñas dosis e ir viendo, avanzando.
Okay. Some arthritis drugs are immune suppressants.
Algunos medicamentos son supresores del sistema inmunológico.
Okay. Others are anti-inflammatories.
Otros son antiinflamatorios. She's saying that the medication is called Araba.
I'd have to look that one up in its English form.
Again,
Again, I won't be able to answer that as specifically as you may like.
Ese medicamento en específico no podría decir porque no lo voy a tener que buscar.
Yeah. You see, one of the things that we cannot do is we cannot diagnose and prescribe.
No podemos diagnosticar y prescribir.
Okay.
Pero
The role,
palabras.
the role of ImmunoCode in any supplement is to strengthen and support a body function.
Lo que hacen tanto ImmunoCode como cualquier suplemento alimenticio es ayudar y fortalecer las funciones del cuerpo.
Again, in some of our later discussions, we'll talk about the immune system and the 4 parts of the 4 functions of the immune system.
Más adelante hablaremos del sistema inmunológico y de sus 4 funciones.
Most people see the immune system as only something that reacts.
La mayoría ve al sistema inmunológico como algo que simplemente reacciona.
But there's actually 4 functions to the immune system.
Pero realmente tiene 4 diferentes funciones.
The first is to recognize.
La primera es reconocer.
If the immune system recognizes a tissue of a joint tissue, it will attack it. Okay, if it doesn't recognize that joint as being normal, as being part of itself, it'll think it's foreign and attack it.
Si el sistema inmunológico detecta que hay un tejido anómalo en las articulaciones, lo va a atacar.
That's a problem. One of the things that transfer factor has been known to do is to raise the awareness of the immune system, raise its ability to recognize properly.
Una de las funciones de este factor de transferencia es ayudar a que el sistema inmunológico realice esta función de forma correcta.
Yeah, again, this is a more complex question that we'll spend a whole seminar on.
Esta es una cuestión que vamos a tratar a largo y tendido en el seminario.
And so again, in this situation, in all of these situations that involve the immune system has to first recognize, meaning I have to know, is this a friend or is this a foe?
Entonces, estas cuestiones que involucran al sistema inmunológico, la función que va a tener al principio es detectar si se trata de un amigo o un enemigo en el cuerpo.
After it recognizes, it now has to choose a reaction.
Una vez que lo reconozca, va a tener que escoger una reacción.
If it recognizes as friend, the reaction is to rest, to not do anything.
Si lo reconoce como un amigo, su reacción va a ser bajar la guardia y relajarse.
Okay. If it recognizes it as an enemy, it should attack.
Si lo ve como un enemigo, lo va a atacar.
But if I recognize a friend as an enemy, I'll attack my friend.
Pero si confunde a un amigo por un enemigo, va a atacar al amigo.
So again, a stronger immune system is one who recognizes more correctly and protects self and attacks foreign.
Entonces, un buen sistema inmunológico es el que puede detectar correctamente a lo propio y atacar a lo ajeno.
Okay, and so I think we need to leave, we could go much farther into this, but I think we need to leave this for now and maybe take one or two more questions and then we're already over an hour, so I don't want to tire everyone out.
Para no ser demasiado exhaustivos, vamos a dejar esto aquí y vamos a tomar una o dos más preguntas.
Okay, let's do at least one more.
Sylvia asks, I have medication-induced cirrhosis.
Arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, hypertension.
Can I take this, and how many capsules are recommended?
Again, Sylvia, one of the things here is that whenever you're into a new situation like this, you need to start low and go slow. You need to be able to read your body, to read what's happening.
En estas situaciones nuevas, lo que se debe hacer es empezar muy lento, con bajas dosis, y escuchar a tu cuerpo.
Okay, and so again, almost everything everything you've mentioned here does have an immune or inflammatory component to it.
Todo o casi todo lo que han mencionado aquí tiene un componente relacionado con el sistema inmunológico.
But again, this is why, your experience may be a help to someone else.
Pero por esto, su experiencia puede ser de ayuda para otras personas.
And again, start low.
Repito, hay que empezar lento,
Maybe one capsule a day.
una cápsula al día tal vez,
Okay, because you want the body to have a chance to recover, to repair. You don't want to give it so much so quickly that it can't utilize it.
porque hay que darle al cuerpo la posibilidad, la chance de ir procesando, ir recuperándose y no alterarlo de una forma tan fuerte.
Yeah. And again, we'll cover this in more detail as we get into other discussions and so forth. And again, so very important for each of you because you'll each have individual experiences. You'll be a man or a woman, young, old. All of those factors affect how the body responds.
Esto es algo que vamos a tratar con más detalle más adelante y es algo que nos va a servir porque cada uno de ustedes son personas con características específicas.
That is not to make you afraid. That is only to make you cautious.
Esto no es para dar miedo, sino simplemente para llamar a la precaución.
Okay. One more, and then I think we need to call it a night.
For long COVID problems like headaches, fatigue, and throat pains, how does ImmunoCode help and how should it be taken? By Domingo.
I see that. Yeah. Let me put this in a context. Okay. COVID is one of those conditions where if you say almost anything about it, the regulatory agencies get very upset.
Pongámonos en contexto. El COVID es una enfermedad que si hablas de ella, las agencias reguladoras pueden ponerse nerviosas.
Okay. But let me ask you, let me do a more milder situation and we'll do by correlation.
Podemos hablar de una situación más tenue y por correlación hablar de esto.
How many of us have had the flu? Essentially everyone.
Prácticamente a todos nos ha dado gripe.
Okay. When you had the flu, what did you feel like doing?
Cuando le da gripe, ¿qué es lo que le dan ganas de hacer?
Nothing, right?
Nada, ¿no?
Why?
Por-
The why is because the body was, the immune system was taking all of your energy in order to keep you alive.
Porque el sistema inmunológico está llevándose toda su energía para poder mantenerlo con vida.
Okay. In the situation where you're dealing with COVID or any other condition like that, who are the people who handle it easily?
En caso de COVID o de condiciones similares,
It's the young people, isn't it?
¿a poco no son los jóvenes a quienes les va relativamente mejor con esto?
Who are at greatest risk?
¿Quiénes están en mayor peligro?
The older people, because their immune system has become weakened over years.
Es la gente mayor porque su sistema inmunológico se ha debilitado con los años.
And again, we will be talking about this in one of the later seminars, and I'll actually draw you graphs and show you the correlations.
Hablaremos de esto en las siguientes presentaciones con diferentes tipos de correlaciones.
And again, I'm going to emphasize for you the idea that an immune supplement is best taken before you're attacked.
Y voy a enfatizar mucho la idea de que un suplemento del sistema inmunológico va a servir mucho mejor si lo tomas como un preventivo,
Not just after you're attacked.
no simplemente después de que ya tienes un problema.
Okay. And again, the stronger your immune system, the more easily you get over any kind of an attack.
Y entre más fuerte sea el sistema inmunológico, mejor vas a poder recuperarte de cualquier tipo de ataque.
In the case of COVID or any condition that does a lot of cell damage,
En el caso del COVID o cualquier enfermedad que dañe mucho a las células,
let me back up one step.
Déjenme retroceder un poco.
What happens, especially in COVID and diseases like that, is that the immune system actually gets going so rapidly that it just explodes. It just goes wild.
En ese tipo de enfermedades lo que pasa es que el sistema inmunológico opera de una forma tan acelerada que explota.
Okay, it's like an engine that has no control. It just revs higher and higher, faster and faster until the engine blows apart.
Es como un motor que está fuera de control, que sigue operando cada vez más hasta que ya explota.
In COVID, that's called a cytokine storm.
Esto es una cosa que ocurre con el COVID.
Okay, it's a cytokine storm. It's the messengers within the immune system just send out such a strong message that the immune system just attacks everything.
Se produce una señal tan fuerte al sistema inmunológico que ataca todo.
What that's like would be using a shotgun instead of a rifle.
Eso sería como utilizar una ametralladora en lugar de un rifle.
And so what happens is that there's a lot of collateral damage. A lot of tissue around the infection is damaged as well.
Entonces hay mucho daño colateral y mucho tejido se daña
Okay,
alrededor.
that's what's happening with long COVID is you have so much damaged tissue in the lungs and in the gut. Lungs and gut are mostly where it happens. That you just got a lot of scar tissue.
En el caso del long COVID, en el COVID largo, lo que ocurre es que hay tanto tejido dañado en los pulmones y en las tripas.
Okay, but this is also why in ImmunoCode I have antioxidants and other components present to help with cell repair.
Por eso también en ImmunoCode hay muchos antioxidantes y cosas que ayudan a la reparación de las células.
Okay, now, don't want to go. I want you to tell me what your experience is. I want you to begin, start low, go slow, build up until you get to the point where your body responds and starts improving its repair function. And then let the rest of us know what your experience has been. This is so important for so many people today.
Lo mejor será que empiecen con pequeñas dosis y lentamente y luego puedan compartirnos sus experiencias o sus testimonios de cómo han ido avanzando.
Okay. Again, a good report tells me who you are. I'm male, I'm female, I'm this old, I'm this weight, I have these conditions. This is what I did. This is how I did it. And this is the benefit I got.
Un buen reporte de sus resultados debería de incluir información, características suyas, edad, sexo, etcétera, la forma en la que lo tomaron y qué beneficios obtuvieron.
Okay. I think we've had enough for one night. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate your patience in working with me and staying with us. I want to thank Alex so much for doing the translation.
You're welcome.
You can tell him that I appreciate you.
Ok. Esto ha sido suficiente por una noche. Agradezco a todos su paciencia y agradezco a Alex por su trabajo como intérprete.
And to Alejandro for organizing and advertising and making it possible for us to have 100+ people on this call.
Y a Alejandro por organizar, publicitar y hacer posible que podamos tener a más de 200 personas en esta llamada.
We'll do this again next Wednesday. Invite all of your friends, anyone who can benefit from greater health.
Esto lo repetiremos el miércoles y les pido que inviten a todas las personas a las que le quieran recomendar mejorar su salud.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Gracias a todos. Buenas noches.
Gracias a todos, amigos. Buenas noches. Gracias, Alex. Excelente traducción. Dr. Hennen, it was an awesome presentation. Thank you very much for sharing with us all your knowledge. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.